6 inches of regulation softball falling from the sky at over 100 miles per hour. 6 inches of confirmed hail just shattered Illinois' all-time state record in Kankakee. 5 consecutive days of severe weather are already locked and loaded starting right now. This is not one storm system, this is a full week of back-to-back severe setups. 5 geographic targets, 5 hazard profiles, all building towards something much bigger. Here's what the SPC confirmed, and folks, I need you to hear every word of this. 36 million Americans are inside an active severe weather risk zone as of today. That is 36,964,111 people with real severe weather threats directly overhead this Tuesday. The storm that broke the state record 2 days ago came out of only a moderate risk. That tells you everything you need to know about what this spring has already produced. The 2026 season has confirmed an EF5 and EF42 tornado emergencies and 12 deaths. Not a single high-risk day issued all season, and yet that EF5 still happened anyway. Plain and simple, the atmosphere does not need a high risk to hurt people this spring. Let me walk you through what is happening today and every day through Saturday, May 16th. Today, by Tuesday, May 12th, the Florida Peninsula is the immediate hot zone right now. A cold front is sagging southward, and ML's HAPE could exceed 1,500 joules per kilogram of energy today. Miami, Tampa, Orlando effective wind shear is running 35 to 45 miles per hour through the atmosphere. Those are supercell supporting parameters, and the SPC is not ruling out a tornado today. Long semi-straight hotographs could allow transient supercells to develop over Florida today. When supercell mode transitions to a bowing cluster, discrete storms give way to organized damaging winds. Damaging winds and hail are possible on an isolated basis through this evening in Florida. At the same time, Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Louis need to pay close attention right now. A cold front dropping southeast out of Canada brings surface dew points reaching the 50s today. Steep lapse rates plus strong west-northwesterly flow equal large hail and wind potential. Scattered development is most probable across eastern Wisconsin late afternoon into early evening. Additional storms are possible into Illinois, Missouri, and southeast Kansas along the front. Y'all in the Great Lakes corridor, keep your alerts on tonight because this front means business. ECMWF is showing half an inch to over an inch of rain per hour along this corridor tonight. That signal dials in right along Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Missouri through tonight. Drop your city and state in the comments right now. I will personally track your area tonight. Now, the confirmed state record that changes everything about this 2026 severe weather season. NWS, Chicago officially confirmed 6-inch diameter hailstones from the Kankakee supercell confirmed. That breaks Illinois' previous record of 4.75 inches, now the largest hail in state history. That same supercell produced a long-tracked EF3 through Kankakee and Lake Village, Indiana. 3 people were killed, 1 supercell, 1 afternoon, 3 deaths, 1 shattered state record. Good Lord, softball-sized hail at over 100 miles per hour punches through roof decking like cardboard. The SPC's new CIG2 system would have flagged that Kankakee supercell as the highest hail intensity tier. That is a potentially lethal projectile, and this week's atmosphere can produce those conditions again. MUX-AP values of 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram of atmospheric energy are forecast for Thursday's plains. Those are the exact same instability values that supported the Kankakee event, I kid you not. Mid-level lapse rates this week are extremely steep, the kind that grow enormous hailstones fast. Extremely steep lapse rates create the updraft power needed to loft golf ball-sized hailstones way up high. Now, Wednesday's target is the most unexpected severe weather location of the entire 5 days. Wednesday, May 13th, Central Appalachians under an isolated severe threat. No joke at all. Pittsburgh, Roanoke, West Virginia, Western North Carolina, Eastern Kentucky, all in this corridor. An amplifying upper-level trough moves into the eastern U.S. Wednesday, and it will not take a break. The SPC is flagging steep lapse rates across the Ohio Valley for Wednesday afternoon storms. Isolated severe wind gusts are the primary threat, with topographic forcing adding more storm coverage. Here's the kicker: West Virginia got its first damaging tornado in over a decade this month. Mountain terrain, rural communities, limited shelter, even isolated events here deserve serious attention. Salt Lake City, you are also in the Wednesday picture with surface temperatures pushing into the 80s. Lapse rates exceeding record values in the Rockies support severe wind gusts and large hail there. Ogden and West Valley City, get your storm plan ready before storms fire over high terrain Wednesday. I need to stop right here. ECMWF shows a rapidly deepening low dropping 20 points by Friday. That is bombogenesis, a pressure drop of 20 millibars in 48 hours, fueling every setup this week. That front is what drives the severe weather corridor from Wednesday straight through Saturday night. Thursday, May 14th, the Great Plains instability axis has the highest ceiling of the entire week. Wichita, Salina, Hutchinson, Enid, Ponca City, dew points forecast to reach the 60s in your corridor. MLK peaking at 1,500 to 2,500 joules per kilogram along the Oklahoma to Kansas corridor Thursday afternoon. Honest truth, a capping inversion in the mid-levels is holding the lid on Thursday daytime storms. When yesterday's storms leave an outflow boundary, that boundary can locally break the cap and trigger new supercells. If the cap breaks before 5 p.m., storms will tap into extraordinary instability below immediately. Any storm firing Thursday is capable of large hail, damaging winds, and an isolated tornado. Deep layer wind shear of 35 to 50 miles per hour is enough to sustain a well-organized supercell Thursday. A long curved autograph keeps storms discrete longer, and discrete supercells are your hail and tornado producers. Central Texas through Oklahoma and Kansas watch Thursday's forecast evolution very carefully. Heads-up cap-limited setups are exactly where the most unexpected, intense storms appear out of nowhere. Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas-Oklahoma border area Thursday evening is your primary watch window. Earl, a farmer in Abilene, thought the cap would hold all spring, not this Thursday. Bless him. Tell me your city and state in the comments. I will give you a 5-day risk window. Friday, May 15th, the northern plains and upper Mississippi Valley rotate back into the threat zone. Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wisconsin, a shortwave trough pushes severe storms through. These are the same communities that absorbed the early April fury. Here we go again, folks. Rochester, Minnesota, the city that got a traffic cam tornado, is back inside Friday's corridor. ECMWF shows a deep surface low near Texas, Oklahoma on Friday morning, fueling a Gulf moisture push. Rainfall rates of 1/4 to 1/2 inch per hour are already showing in models for Friday. Carol Myers, a retired nurse in Omaha, she already has her shelter identified before storms arrive. Des Moines, Sioux Falls, Fargo, Green Bay. Friday afternoon is not a day to be caught outside. Now here's where things get way too serious Saturday and Sunday, May 16th and 17th. Gulf moisture builds northward Saturday, the best severe weather environment of the entire week. A 15% severe weather probability zone is already painted from North Texas up through Nebraska Saturday. Large hail, damaging wind gusts, and an isolated tornado are all in the picture for the Central Plains. The SPC's honest predictability is low this far out, but that Gulf moisture is locked in. Iowa, northern Missouri, eastern Nebraska, northeastern Kansas, y'all are in the hail hotspot this weekend. That is the same corridor that produced Iowa tornado warnings and Illinois state record hail this spring. Get your vehicles under cover Saturday if supercell development is expected flat out, no exceptions. Mark my words, Saturday's Gulf moisture surge into a capped environment is a classic derecho setup. A derecho can produce damaging winds across 250 miles or more. This is not a wind advisory. A classical derecho needs a continuous bow echo with damaging winds stretching over 250 miles to qualify. The same mid-level flow that drove squall lines across Missouri and Illinois in April is back this week. Frank Hollister, a rancher in Amarillo, already moved his equipment inside. That man reads the atmosphere. When supercell density hits a critical threshold along the front, upscale growth into an MCS becomes likely. The nocturnal low-level jet accelerates after sunset, driving squall lines deep into populated areas overnight. Gulf moisture returns, strong mid-level flow, and ample instability are all operating at once this week. Let me be direct, this 5-day sequence is building toward the most dangerous week in the calendar. The week of May 19th through 26th is the most historically active severe weather week in American records. That window begins 8 days from today. This whole week is feeding moisture northward for it. The SPC Day 4 through 8 outlook already has a 15% hatched severe zone in place for Saturday. 5 setups, 5 regions, all feeding instability into the atmosphere for what is still coming after this. Now, flash flooding, the hazard that kills more Americans every year than tornadoes do, folks. The WPC is flagging excessive rainfall concerns this week, especially along the central Gulf Coast. Rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour are possible inside individual storm cores this week. Stalling frontal patterns will produce training convection, same storms, same geography, repeated hits. Turn around, don't drown every single day this week, not just the days with big risk colors. If heavy rain is falling upstream tonight, do not drive into standing water way too fast. Sandra Phelps in Lexington, South Carolina, she is watching that Atlantic coast rainfall setup carefully. ECMWF shows rainfall rates up to 1 inch per hour offshore the Carolinas by Thursday night. Now, the nighttime threat, this is the one that catches people completely off guard every single time. Every squall line developing in the afternoon this week can push overnight into heavily populated areas. The nocturnal low-level jet that drove the Mississippi tornado emergencies last week is going to be active again. Stone County PDS at 11 p.m. and the Michigan Wake low death both happened on calm-looking nights. Thursday night into Friday and Saturday night into Sunday, those are your highest risk overnight windows. Have your weather alerts active every single night, not just the obvious high-risk nights. Every night! The atmosphere never announces which overnight it delivers its most dangerous squall line, never does. Bob Simmons, a retired electrician in Indianapolis, keeps his alerts on every spring night. No excuses. That is exactly the right move. A 3-inch hailstone through your windshield is not just property damage. Driving through a flooded road at midnight during a squall line is one of the most preventable deaths. Here's something not enough people are discussing: 0 high-risk days issued all of 2026. 60 high-risk days in the 1990s alone, and 2026 has had exactly 0 through May 10th. Every catastrophic event this spring happened in a marginal, slight, or enhanced risk environment. The EF4 came out of marginal risk. The Kankakee EF3 with record hail came out of moderate. High risk needs numerous violent storms. Simultaneously isolated catastrophic storms fly under that bar. Good grief, this season proved a lower tier outlook day can still produce history-making individual storms. When you see a marginal risk this week, do not dismiss it and go about your day. Any storm firing this week has the atmospheric fuel to produce results way outside its risk category. Not gonna lie, 2,500 joules per kilogram of atmospheric instability forecast for Thursday are extraordinary numbers. Those are the same parameters that supported the Kankakee supercell coming back to the plains this week. I need to stop right here. Let me give you the complete week picture one final time. Tuesday, May 12th, Florida and Midwest Great Lakes, marginal risk, 36.9 million people directly exposed. Wednesday, May 13th, the Central Appalachians and Northern Rockies, Pittsburgh and Salt Lake City on alert. Thursday, May 14th, Great Plains axis, Wichita through Enid, cap limited, but any storm will be intense. Friday, May 15th, the Northern Plains and Upper Mississippi Valley, Iowa through Wisconsin back in play. Saturday to Sunday, May 16th and 17th, Gulf moisture surge. North Texas to Nebraska, real tornado potential. 5 days, 5 regions, 5 hazard profiles, all building toward the most dangerous week in the calendar. Do yourself a solid, know your shelter for every single day this week, not just the weekend. Keep your alerts active every night and understand this 5-day corridor is not the climax of 2026. The climax is 8 days away. May 19th this week is setting the table for it. Drop your city and state below. I will be watching live and updating you all week long. Stay weather aware every single night. Severe weather is here and is not done yet.